This is your 420 Radio News for Monday, August 26, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Congress to hold hearings on marijuana laws. This from the Normal blog. Senator Patrick Leahy, Democrat of Vermont, has scheduled a hearing to address the conflict between state and federal marijuana laws. Quote, "It is important, especially at time of budget constraints, to determine whether it is the best use of federal resources to prosecute the personal or medicinal use of marijuana in states that have made such consumption legal," end quote, Senator Leahy stated. He continued, quote, "I believe that these state laws should be respected. At a minimum, there should be guidance about enforcement from the federal government," end quote. The hearing is scheduled for September 10th, and both Attorney General Eric Holder and Deputy Attorney General James Cole have been invited to testify. The hearing comes after 20 states have approved the medicinal use of marijuana and 2 states have legalized it for recreational use. The Department of Justice has promised clarification for these states, but has thus far failed to provide any clear policy or guidance. It is the hope of Senator Leahy that these hearings will address the concerns of these states and provide them a way to move forward with their state-approved marijuana laws. 2012-2013 data shows only 12 tests positive in Utah welfare drug testing. From Deseret News. Utah has spent more than $30,000 to screen welfare applicants for drug use since a new law went into effect a year ago, but only 12 people have tested positive, state figures show. The preliminary data from August 2012 through July 2013 indicates the state spent almost $6,000 to give 4,730 applicants a written test. After 466 of them showed a likelihood of drug use, they were then given drug tests at a total cost of more than $25,000, according to the Utah Department of Workforce Services, which administers welfare benefits and the tests. Kaysville Republican Representative Brad Wilson, who sponsored the legislation last year, said in an email that the 12 people netted by drug tests might not represent the full picture. Wilson pointed out that 24% of applicants who were required to take a drug test didn't and did not continue in the application process. He said the process could be identifying applicants with drug issues who did not want to follow through and get treatment. Medical marijuana, hundreds in Maine apply to grow state-produced pot. From Bangor Daily News. An annual report from the Department of Health and Human Services released Thursday shows the medical marijuana program has been growing in Maine and is in the midst of a reorganization. Some 575 people applied to the state last year to grow medical marijuana, 521 of those new applications. The state's 8 medical marijuana dispensaries employed 84 people. The Maine medical use of marijuana program took in $612,000 in fees and spent considerably less, $466,000. Though there are no hard figures, it is estimated 13,000 patients use medical marijuana in Maine. Jeremy LaFaver, Missouri Democrat, arrested for marijuana possession. From Huffington Post. Missouri State Representative Jeremy LaFaver, Democrat, was arrested Sunday on suspicion of possessing up to 35 grams of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia. According to a Missouri State Highway Patrol's arrest report cited by Politics Mo, LaFaver was pulled over for failing to respond to an earlier charge that he had operated his vehicle with expired license tags. On top of the drug charges, the arresting officer also charged him with failure to appear at court for traffic offenses. In a statement, LaFaver, a first-term lawmaker and chairman of the Missouri House Democratic Victory Committee, apologized for the incident. Missouri has some of the harshest anti-pot laws in the nation. Possession of any amount of marijuana under 35 grams is punishable as a Class A misdemeanor, a charge that carries up to a year in prison and a $1,000 fine. Anything in excess of 35 grams becomes a felony, punishable by at least 7 years in jail and a fine of $5,000 or more. Denver Council defies mayor and chooses 3.5% tax rate on retail marijuana. From Denver Post. In a tight vote last week, the Denver City Council defied Mayor Michael Hancock's request to ask voters to approve a sales tax rate for retail marijuana that begins at 5%. The council, in a 7-6 vote, chose 3.5%, siding with Auditor Dennis Gallagher. The auditor sent each council member 2 letters within a few weeks of each other, pleading with them to pick 3.5% over 5%. Chief Financial Officer Kerry Kennedy said the 3.5% tax is expected to bring in $3.4 million a year to pay for regulation, enforcement, and education around the new industry. At 5%, the tax would have brought in an estimated $4.8 million, she said. This has been your 420 Radio News for Monday, August 26, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines at the new emerging personal pen vaporizer industry with interviews by Brian the Red of Paradise Vapes and Mr. Vapes, two vaporizer vendors at the Seattle Hemp Fest. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back.